What a way to start the day. Double egg butty. Nice cup of freshly brewed coffee. Happy days.
Hey, Wally. What are we doing today, Wally? What are we doing? You're going to keep an eye on the sheep? Are you going to bark? Or are you going to lie in the sun somewhere? And then in the shade, and then in the sun? Good morning. So today is the start of putting some concrete in the trench, and I'm going to top it off with some blocks. I've set up a parallel line front and back, and the aim of the day is to just fire up the Jenny, which is over there behind us, get the mixer making some concrete out of this 3/4 of dust and some cement, mix up some concrete, and then get a level coming through to the line with a row of blocks, and we'll set the blocks on top of what will be effectively the concrete foundation. So I suppose you can watch and learn as I learn what I'm doing, and you can go and be on guard. So let's go and fire up that Jenny. On, choke on. Oh. Running. Yay! He's running fast. Wonder why that is. Not normally that fast. Whoa. That's nice and dense. Run away from the dust. It appears Wally's not a fan of the generator. So 3/4 of dust. Oh. It's a decent concrete mix. It's on the economy end of the scale. We probably mix it sort of 5-to-1. This will equate to probably about a third of a bag of cement to a mixer full. quite thirsty. So as you can see, this stuff starts to set or goes very firm as the rain washes over it and becomes quite hard without the cement, because it's basically crushed rock in varying grades. So it wants to settle back into a firm state, and then when we add the cement and water to it, it'll become rock solid. As it dries, what I've learned over the years is not to overfill the mixer too quickly and allow it to mix what you're putting in. Gradually, not just rush, fill it up and then hope it mixes. I do remember a time years and years ago, before I started working for my father as a job when I was just a kid, we didn't even have a cement mixer. So we'd mix everything on the floor, on a sheet of wood, on a slab of concrete somewhere, make like a volcano shape with a dip in the middle, and we pour a bucket of water in the dip and pull the aggregate into the water and build it up and up and up and up, and then we'd have to go at it, going round the outside with a shovel, turning it all in, round and round, quite a few times, and then what you end up with is concrete or sand and cement mortar. So these certainly make things a lot easier. So the aim of the day is the bedrock is dug out and I'm stood here on top of the lump of bedrock, and this needs to be covered with, I'm saying, sort of between 2 and 4 inches of concrete. So everything that way that drops away and everything that way that drops away will need to be level with the top of it, level with 2 to 4 inches above this level. So with a level, I can bring this through, and as you can see under the end of that level there's at least a concrete block. So starting off may seem a bit like I'm scratching my head, and that's because starting off I'm scratching my head. So that all of this is very hard. If you saw in the previous video, this had a trench ram over it, which is very violent, but very, very effective. Whoa. Pour the water right at the front, around the rim, and get that rim clean, and keep it clean. This front edge here, this front section, make sure that's clean. because it doesn't take long for that to go hard and start to crisp up. And once it does, it gets thicker and thicker and thicker as the day goes on. But it's always good practice to, when the mix is empty, is to keep water in it. Sticky. There's quite a few flies around. Today is Thursday, I think. And the temperature later on is set to raise up to, for this neck of the woods, about 28 degrees. So currently we're in the shade, so it's not so bad. But when the sun comes around over there, it's going to get rather warm. So here's the first about 6-inch blocks. Cool, they're all about. I just carefully put him on in line with the string, and the top of it is about 3.5 inches higher than the bedrock there. Level that way. Level that way. One level block in both directions. And it's not that critical at this point, but it just makes life easier when you turn to a sand cement mix and you're laying blocks up to ground level. So, number one. And now I'm going to bank it up each side. To a minimum of 600 mil, the outside measurement of the concrete. And I'd say there's a good 4-5 inches underneath that one. So what we'll see as the day progresses, if the heat permits, is just a row of blocks continuing through at level, following the string, and that'll effectively be the first course of the wall underneath the ground level. So we're having blocks stood up to create the edge of the floor slab, and then we're going to have 18 inches of blocks flat through to create a retaining wall to retain all of this soil. Probably be up to here. Retaining wall, but obviously the slab level is only coming up to floor level, because on top of that is going to be a wooden shed. So the time lapse is running, so you can follow me on the time lapse while I knock this other one off, because you don't want to hear the Jenny running all day and you don't want to see the slow progress. So
groundworks are going on really well for the shed. Speaking of the shed, we thought we'd show you a bit of a plan. Well, not a bit of a plan, the plan.